welcome to another episode of Builder's Block here on the Transverse Network. Now, as many of you who may have been here before might remember this part, I'm going to quickly pause and check to see if you can actually hear me, because there's been several occasions where you haven't been able to because I did not get the mic settings right. So quick check. Can you hear me? Am I actually coming through right now? That's the first big question. And I know I'm like a 30-second delay, so I'll vamp a little bit. And hopefully you're actually hearing something while I'm chatting here. Put my keyboard aside. But Opal, the Care Bear, hey there, welcome. I'm going to briefly assume I can be heard. Hopefully stuff will show up in the chat in a second, but let me know if you can. Also, as always, let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet behind me, and I will see what I can do to try to adjust it. But I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm hoping that we'll have a fun time here building together as we enjoy this great Wednesday evening and hopefully a beautiful day. I don't know what it's been like for you guys, but it was gorgeous here in New York today. So it made for a lovely day. It made for a longer day too in some ways, because I tried to make the most of the day and then felt like I was running out of time for the day, but also then it was cold for way too long afterwards. I'm just babbling now. I don't even know what I'm saying. Thank you for everyone who said, all right, you can hear me, but it sounds like my volume is low. I'm going to try to turn that up. So let's see if that's any better. Thank you, Bonnie. All right, I tried to tweak my volume to be a little bit higher, so let me know if that's a little better. It's always a learning process. Okay, thank you, Jessica. I put my volume up pretty high now, so hope it's not too high, but let me know. When also, maybe I'm far from the mic. We can try to adjust that too. We'll do two things. All right. Thank you, Ashley, also. Is it any better now? I've increased the output. I've moved the mic closer. I'm also conscious I'm seeing everything like 30 seconds. I don't know. You're seeing it 30 seconds after I've done it. So hopefully by the time you're reacting to this, it's actually happened. All right. Having put the volume all the way up and moved the mic closer, again, I'm hoping we're in a better place now and not an overwhelmingly loud place. This is a good first 2 minutes of just like tech tweaking. This is why you came, right? You wanted to see me learn how to use this. All right. So if you've been here before, you know the deal. But for those of you who maybe are new, or maybe it's been a while, this is what's going on. This is the Builder's Block. It's one of many great shows here on the Transverse Network. And the particular notion of this show is that a couple of different folks get to show off what they can do, what they like to create, what they have a passion for building in particular. We've had a few changes now. We're changing up, so now I think each one of the builders will be on once a month. And at the moment, it's every other week because we also lost a builder, Rosa, who did amazing little mech units, has made the insane decision to focus on her school and you know, like improving her life and having a good amount of time for work-life balance, and has decided not to build for at least a little while. So sadly, we don't have her to entertain us on some Wednesdays, but you still have me, and you still have Emily, who does her great custom Star Wars droids. So together, hopefully we can keep it going, and maybe we'll find some more builders, and we'll continue to have a very fun time. I'm also going to briefly open the window because it just got super warm in here. I realized I turned on all my lights and it warmed up more than I expected. So you also get to see, oh, I have a new camera angle. I can show off not only the new camera angle because I have too many cameras, but also you can see me open a window. I think that would be, you know, try that. So that's my main PC. That's usually where you see me at other times. In fact, here's what I'm pointing at. That's kind of the computer that this monitor is actually attached to. And so that's where I'm often sitting when I do D&D from home, or I do Zoom calls from home, or when I'm playing Cyberpunk and stuff. And thank you, Jessica. I hear you, that sounds good. That's a bummer. I don't quite know why it's not identical, but we'll work on it. We'll figure it out. I'll learn how to do this one of these days, but hopefully it's at least not terrible for you. If we need to, or if anyone has any thoughts on it, I can always pause and fix things, but we'll go for now, unless anyone has any thoughts. Anyway, I say that's where I'm connected to, and this is where I am across the room. This is where I usually work day to day. And so all three of these monitors are involved when I'm working. When I'm streaming, I have this monitor connected to that computer. I have this monitor connected to an old Surface tablet, which can only connect to one monitor. So for the moment, I'm not using this monitor at all, which makes me a little sad because I like to use all my gadgets. But for the moment, this is what we got. And so this is also where you get to see me open this window. So I'm going to quickly do that. Cool. And hopefully we won't have any motorcycle gangs going by, which does crazily happen sometimes here in New York, where a bunch of folks will just suddenly zip down and rev all their engines and be complete tricks. But hopefully it'll be quiet enough that you won't hear it, you can still hear me, and I can hopefully cool off a little bit. Alrighty. So anyway, what was I talking about at the beginning? Builder's block, that's the deal. So I mentioned these other people who have built in the past or will continue to build in the present. What I do is I build custom Lego things. That's my passion since almost as far back as I can possibly remember. I love building with Lego bricks, like I'm sure many of you. I like to think I do some fun and interesting things with them, which is why I'm contributing here, why I appear on here and get to show off these things. But I don't want this to be a purely one-way relationship. Sure, I can show off and build a little bit for you, and we can have a little bit of fun creating together and talking about it together, but I'd also love to see what you're creating. So if you're not already in there, we do have a Discord channel. We can throw that up in the chat. But if you join our Discord channel, there's a lot of great conversations going on hundreds of different topics, or at least dozens. I don't know if there are hundreds, but there's dozens. And we also do have a channel just for Builder's Block, which is not super active. I don't always do a great job paying attention, but you can always tag me. But still, if you want to jump in there and you want to share what you're creating, what you're building, I'd love to see it. I'd love to chat about it. So there you go. What's the small kilobyte in front of the computer? Sorry, Carrie. I don't know if you were trying to say that, but I don't know what you meant by KB. And I'm happy to answer it if I understand what the question is. Let me go back and look. Do you mean this one? Or do you mean that one? Well, whichever one. I realize it doesn't always make good for real-time conversation given the delay, but let me know which computer you're talking about and which display in front of it you're talking about, and I'll try to answer your question. I can say what's in front of me right now, which is some of the parts to build this sucker. I almost went like this, but I forgot it's on this side. This sucker. I'm going to build a school bus tonight, a custom Lego school bus. And the reason why is because I wanted to shake things up a little bit. So for a while, for any of you who have been here before, you might have seen me on the last several streams building portions of what we've been calling my trans train. It's not just trans identities, there's more involved, though I did kick off with a trans engine. Oh, wrong one. Here. So you're behind me are the cars that have been built so far of the trans train with the engine that's in the colors of the trans flag. This dude, who, it's pretty cool. I like to think has room for an actual battery pack. There is an actual motor on here. It does work as a train. It will move and propel on the tracks. So we got the engine that's in the colors of the trans flag. And that was the original idea. Was just I had the thought of doing a trans engine, a trans train. But I kept going. I made some more cars, and so I made. Because I know you wanted to see my back. I made, if I don't break it in the process of bringing it over to you, I created a bear car. So it has the colors of the bear pride flag. This is for my friend Raphael at work, who took me to my first ever bear bar, so I got to have a different experience there in DC. We have a animal bear and a scared hairy dude sharing the same little wagon here. But that was a fun creation. That was what I did last time on stream. We also have two car carriers in the colors of the lesbian pride flag, one with the orange on the bottom and other shades above, and one with the pinks on the bottom and other shades above, and a tanker of gender fluid. So we have gotten a number of different cars, making kind of bad puns, bad jokes. I guess not puns. I don't know. Whatever they are, they're not great, but they're still mildly amusing to me and a good basis for building out more cards to the train. And I'm going to keep doing this. This is not done. It's not over. But I didn't also want to get into only this. I didn't want to get into only a repetitive series of the same things. And that's because I'm conscious of how long some of these series can go. I became very self-conscious at how many streams I spent trying to finish my big modular town hall and how little progress I felt like I was making between streams. So my notion here is to try to break it up a little bit more. Do a couple of different things, make it a little bit more varied. So you're still seeing me create Lego things, obviously, but maybe I'm switching back and forth between projects, so it's not just the same thing for weeks or months on end, especially if we're going to be appearing a little less frequently, doing every 4 weeks instead of every 3 weeks that you'll see me. So that's the notion. Love the train. The train's not gone. The train will expand. We're going to do something a little bit different tonight just to break it up, have a little bit of variety. I'm also going to catch on chat here because I figured I was lagging for people. Why is everything I do technically crummy? That is a bummer. I hope it's not me. It might be me though. I have no idea. Because it's one of those things where I don't really know what to change. Again, things I need to learn. I should probably already know before I do this, but here we are. Hopefully I can figure it out and make it not lag. I think also this is a thought for you all. In the lower right-hand corner of Twitch stream, there is a little gear, I believe, where you can change what the rate is, what the what the quality of the video is. So you can potentially downgrade that and see if that has a better experience. That maybe if your settings are on auto, that maybe it's trying to do a little bit too much, and if you downgrade it, then maybe it's a smoother experience. That's just a guess. I have no idea if it will work, but that's a thought that sometimes has helped me in the past. And Carrie, your question, I have now figured it out. Thank you for explaining it further. Is about the angled thing with the keys, and I can definitely tell you what that is. Let me put these back real quick. So the angled thing with the keys is this one. We'll bring it back over here. I see them right there in the center of the screen is what you're talking about. That is a stream deck. Stream decks are hella awesome. They are what I am using right now to do these switches between things, because this is a little stream deck. There's an even smaller one, so there's 3 different sizes of them, and they have all these little LCD screens on them with buttons that you can program and switch up what they are. So I can hit this button, and I can switch to this screen, or this screen, or this screen, or this screen, hey there, or my monitor, and all with the press of the button, take you around through it. So it's a nice way to change things up. I can also start and stop the stream from this. I can turn my lights on and off. Honestly, any kind of thing that you can, there's all kinds of macros that come with it, but also ones that third parties make that you can download and install to go on it, to make it be an awesome thing. There's folders, you can do different things. So the bigger one that I have over at the, wrong buttons, geez, I'm all over the place. When I'm paying attention to what they are, the bigger one over there, I have lots of different folders on it and different controls. So I have a whole different set of interactions when I'm sitting over there. I also can use it for shortcuts. So when I dock my workstation here, my work laptop here, and this Stream Deck is then connected to my work laptop, instead of being these controls to change things on OBS or to open up different applications related to streaming, I have it instead opening up our dev environment and our stage environment and our production environment, all these other work-related things as a nice little shortcut. So that's the Stream Deck. It's super awesome. I love it. I highly recommend it if you're, of course, blessed to be able to get one. And it's by Elgato. It's the company. I have Elgato Stream Decks in here and in my living room, and I have Elgato key lights all over the place to brighten things up here. So I've bought in hard to their product arrangements, their product catalog. There's the word. All right. I have no idea if it's a Twitch problem. I'm coming through the computer. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe you're hearing me off the wrong sound source. That would be messed up. Let me check. device. Let's pick. All right. I've reselected my mic. Oh, and I'm turning the volume down on it because I think it was way too high. Does this sound any better? Shoot. Now I feel like a big idiot. All right, tell me. Obviously this doesn't necessarily help any of the streaming laggy issues, but at least maybe this can help the sound issues. Do you hear me now any better than you did before? Once again, I know there's a delay, so I will keep talking in the hopes that this will catch up and you'll be able to hear me right. That's a bummer. I found because I have so many different things connected to different places, when I switch my switch that connects this mic and keyboard and mouse to that computer, sometimes I have to re-select the devices in Discord to make it recognize it. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's why my sound sounded so tinny. And so obviously I don't have headphones on. I like to just hear sound. I like to not have it on so I can move around. But it's possible that that's why I can't hear that feedback. I'm not getting that direct real-time connection. And would not be a stream if I didn't have technical problems. I don't think it would. All right, while I wait for anyone to confirm if it sounds better now or any different for that matter, let's get, I guess, closer into the actual build. And as I do it, I'll also talk a little bit about my day because it's been a fascinating time lately. But yes, it totally is exactly that, Carrie. That's definitely what the deal is. Okay. Building time. So I have little trays here. I've been trying to do better. Ashley, Gotham City Girl, did a good job properly remonstrating me in an earlier stream that my build on the fly techniques are not always super well suited to building in front of a live audience, particularly because you are probably having to wait and watch me fumble and search for pieces a lot of the time. And I want to make that a little bit better for you. So I have been trying the last couple times to actually build ahead, to plan ahead and lay out all my pieces in advance, and try to figure out exactly what I need before we even get going. And I've become probably a little bit too confident about it. I realize I don't even have my giant extra bucket of pieces out like I usually do. Oh, good. I'm sorry. I'm finally seeing the comments that say the sound is better. I'm very glad to hear that. I'm sorry it was so messed up before. I'm sorry I did not notice it. I see a little green output bar that shows how much my voice is coming through. I think the thing is, it looks the same for me whether it's working or not. So, which is messed up. But yeah, I went in basically to my Wave 3 mic and just reselected the Wave 3. And again, it looks identical, but I guess it actually turned it on from your perspective. So glad. But pump it up a little bit more. Okay, I will do that. I'm sorry, by the way. I know now you've probably been it's been 2 minutes you've been waiting for me to react to these things. Pump up the volume. Jeez. All right. So long doing that delay. All right. For those of you who can text me, maybe and you know who you are, feel free to also text me because I might see it faster. No, I won't. I'm seeing the text. I don't know. I'm just talking. I'm sorry for the technical issues, but it's only been 18 minutes. If you're still here, you're still wonderful, and that's appreciated. And maybe we can do even better as it goes on. So I did increase the volume. I hope it's better now. And now I'll actually build. So, school bus. Now, one of the things I mostly do, and I'm mostly known for, are my modular buildings. So I have these kinds of things. And when I say modular, that means they can all easily fit together with each other. So they all follow a similar standard. Then all the buildings can easily, anyone's modular building, can go next to anyone else's modular building because they all follow the same pattern and the same structure. So it's easy for one sidewalk to line up with another sidewalk because they all align at the same points. So that is a great thing. That is an easy standard to build to and an easy way to rapidly build a whole town with a bunch of people because everyone can build their own buildings and then plop them all together and it should work because it follows that same standard. But they're also modular because you can open them up. That building, and the other 35, 36 buildings I've made all lift up. All the ceilings and floors all lift apart, and it's a whole furnished building, or at least most of them are furnished. There's that one I still haven't finished. I have another one in my office I still haven't finished at work. Yeah, so that's a lot of my passion. I love doing that. And then to go with those towns, I have 70 some vehicles, 5 or 6 custom trains now at this point. So the town stuff and the buildings in particular are usually my most notable creations, the biggest things and most recognizable things that I create. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is going back and building another modular. Doing my very first building on here, I think the first thing I created on here was finishing my modular gas station, my first stream. So then I did the town hall, we did the train. So now I want to do a modular school. I want to do a whole Lego building that's a modular Lego school. And so I figured to kick that notion off, we would build a school bus tonight, nice, compact, doable thing. Hopefully we'll fill up the time nicely. And if we do have extra time, I want to actually draw out, I want to think through and start to draw out what my plans are, what my thoughts are for the school, and get sort of a head start on how that can play out. Cool. So that's the goal. That's the plan. I did actually already build this school bus. So this is one of the things I've mentioned before. I don't plan ahead. I just build on the fly. That's fun for me. I feel like I can be a little bit more creative. I can change things up. It's also not necessarily good for you because you get to see a lot of awkward pauses while I figure things out. So I did free build this bus. Yeah, this is not like I'm not following someone else's plan. This is all custom. But I did do it ahead of time, built the whole bus, and then took pictures as I took it apart so I could try to recreate what I did here. So I'm going to go over here. So I have this little phone over here, right here, that controls this view that I can expand, contract, and move around. I'm going to change it to look at photos so I can see what I built before. Just before I do that, though, I do want to show off one little thing. So I do mostly buy sets nowadays just for the parts, for the pieces. You see the sorted stuff behind me. There's a closet of the unsorted stuff over there. But there are some sets that I keep for future resale because Lego appreciates like crazy. And so that might be a future, house down payment or new roof or whatever in the future. And I figure even if it, for some reason, the bottom drops out, I'll have a lot of Lego. And I love Lego, so that's totally cool too. So I buy all these sets, sometimes for future resale, and sometimes because I actually want to build them myself, and they're just super cool. And I have a set I just got that I'm torn on. I don't know whether to build it or save it. And even if I want to build it, I don't know if I should build it now or in the future when I have more space, because I have no idea where I'll put it. So that's that box right there. Can you guess what is in that box right there? What is this new Lego purchase? And while you guess and while we do the delay, I will walk over and tilt it so you can actually see. But I will do it slowly so you have a second to ponder and maybe throw in a guess of what you think is in this box, this new Lego set. It wasn't easy to get. It was on sold out and then back order and then sold out and then back order, and I think it's back on sold out again, but I managed to slip in during the last back order session. That's right, the Titanic. I'm very excited for that set. It's a super cool set, and it's an absolutely enormous set. It's something like 4 feet long when it's constructed. And I have no clue where I would put that here in my Manhattan apartment. I'm blessed for space, no question. I'm very happy and very lucky for tons of reasons, but I do not know where I would put a 4-foot Titanic. So I'm very torn because I want to build that sucker. I don't know if I should, or at least I should yet. So that is the big debate going on with me right now is, do I build that thing? All right, as usual, and I feel like it's a longer delay than usual, but I feel like I haven't seen any, maybe no one guessed, and that's fine, but I haven't seen any reactions yet to that. I just wonder how far in the future I am versus what you're seeing right now. Okay. We're going to build now. So like I said, I'm going to switch my phone I'm going to find these pictures of what I built so I can attempt to recreate it. Right. Okay. All right. So part of why I'm looking at these pictures while I'm trying to figure out how to rebuild this is because it's not quite as easy as most vehicles are. And I've talked a little bit about this before when I've talked about my my trains and even the trans train engine, why it's a little bit more complicated of a build than most Lego constructions. And that is because I am doing what I did last time, which is making a 7-stud wide vehicle. So most Lego constructions are, the old Lego cars were always 4 studs wide. They are this wide. Some of the new cars have gotten to be 6 wide. And some of the new Speed Champion sets are even wider, and they're like 8 studs wide. But you won't find many odd-numbered Lego pieces. Most common will be 3 studs wide. So when you want to create something that's an odd width, it's much more challenging to do. You're not going to find any windshield that's going to be 7 or 5 studs wide. They're all going to be 4 or 6. Or 10 or 12 for some of the giant, or 14 for some of the giant Technic sets. So it's not as easy to build an odd number sized, but I have a deliberate reason for doing so, because I want to be able to have people sit side by side on the school bus, which is not easy on a 6 stud wide vehicle because the arms run into each other, right? When a little Lego dude is sitting in a chair, its arms are wider than the 2 studs of the chair. So you have to have space on the window side and space on the aisle side to be able to put 2 people side by side. It has to be wider than 6 studs. So that's where doing something that is having the inside of the vehicle be at least 5 studs wide is sort of the starting point if you want people to be beside each other. And I want my school bus to be a slightly more accurate school bus than what you normally get with Lego-sized vehicles. Hence the odd number size for my vehicle, for my bus. Let me find a different picture. I want to find a broader picture. Right. Okay. This is helping me remember how the heck I did this. I still probably didn't take all the pictures I needed to, which will just make it fun and interesting. And hopefully I can remember how the heck I did this, because it's not always easy. All right. We are going to do a few things, right? We are going to... This little thing is going to be sort of the door well. It's going to be a little bit lower, hang down lower underneath a lot of the vehicle. So there'll be a tall door that the students can get into and then step up into the bus beside the driver. So I'm going to do this little well and I put these little black pieces up, which are basically like little, I don't know if you can see it. Here we go. Little steps going up there. We're going to do this here, and this here. So I don't know if you can quite make it out, but where this is matched out to, that this is now 7 studs wide, right? 3 and 4. This is the width of the vehicle. So that's going to be cool, but it's a lot harder to build this. It's a lot harder to construct this given these odd numbers. You have to do a lot more plates in between to connect all together. Oh, I'm seeing the guesses now. Awesome. I don't know why this took so long. This is great. These are great guesses. The Queen Mary was a solid backup guess, Jessica. That was a good cheating. Yes, you had no idea. I know you did. I know you're a wide-eyed innocent and came at that with no foreknowledge whatsoever. What else is going here? So then it's going to be 4 on top, and here this side will be this and this. Okay. I have to remember not to put things too far back. I have to do them farther up where you can see me. Great. That can't be right. No, maybe it is. Yeah, it is. There we go. And that's going to go there. Ah, so much to try to remember. Okay. Do here. This is going to go here-ish. So between there is that. Okay, okay, it's coming back. I'm getting there. I'm figuring it out. Because a lot of these pieces were overlapping in different ways to try to add a little bit of structural integrity, especially since they're in this unusual width. So I had to do a little bit more crazy and strange things to make this hold together. Okay, so I also said while I do this, I talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So here's the deal what I'm doing. So also I'm catching up now, Logic Buster, no flag this time. Unless you want to take this as an interpretation that trans kids should be supported in the various places they're under attack, which is totally cool. I've been actually wanting to do a Lego school for a while, but I can kind of be topical and flag related in that sense. But truthfully, I just wanted to not overdo the identity train, hence doing something different with my Lego modular bus here. But my day, or sorry, I was going to mention a little bit what was happening today, because today was a very different day for me. Yesterday, I went down to 60 Center Street to the very large and intimidating courthouse we have that you might have seen from such shows as Law and Order, where we have, the major courthouses here in the city of New York. And I showed up to report for jury duty, which is what I had this week. And I was a little anxious about it on a few levels. When I get anxious with any kind of officialdom, anytime there's something that's official, there's part of me that always feels like I'm gonna get things wrong, because I'm gonna screw things up, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't know why. I've always been a keep off the grass person. I've generally been someone who avoids conflict, so I imagine there's probably something that's interrelated about that. But that's that was on my mind. That bit of anxiety was certainly on my mind. Oh, this is wrong. Sorry, I got distracted. What is that? Wait, how is that physically possible? Did I screw this up? Oh, there we go. That's why I had the wrong pieces. Okay. Never mind, continuing on. So, jury duty. I had jury duty. So I got down there to do my service, which I'm happy to do. I actually got several jury summonses during the pandemic. I received summonses for the Southern District of New York, which is a lot of famous cases happen there. That's the federal court here in Manhattan. And I've served on a Southern District jury before. But the first time that summons came in, it was during the very start of the pandemic, and I just didn't trust it. I didn't think it was going to be a great time to go in, which it turned out not. They ended up suspending jury trials for a while, and while they figured out how they were going to go about it safely. So that ended up being a not terrible decision to postpone at that time. I just was still a little bit anxious to jump in that moment. So that worked out. That I postponed then. Then it came back around and I postponed again because then it was during one of the most important days of my career, where we were picking a new agency to work on Pfizer.com, on redesigning the website that I'm responsible for. I was in charge of that project, so I couldn't not show up for the agency pitches. So I had to postpone again. So I postponed a second time. Then I came back. I said specifically, all right, I have to postpone. I know I can postpone for up to 6 months. I would like to just postpone up until August, though, because I know August will be, we're not in the last month of the launch, so it would be an easier time to fit in jury duty, be able to devote to it and not be distracted by work. And of course, that's not what happened. It didn't work out that way, and I got called up the week of the site launching. The week of the site launching was when I was supposed to report to jury duty again, and I once again postponed because that I just couldn't the entire year had been building towards this moment, one of the biggest of my career. I couldn't skip out on work for that. I had to do it. So I did. I attended. I postponed once more, my third and final time. So I was expecting that my next notice was going to be that I was going to be reporting for jury duty and in the Southern District, where I had been postponing all along. As it turns out, I got called for jury duty for the state of New York a couple weeks ago. So I postponed 3 times for the Southern District. They're going to come back to me at some point, and now I'm going to be sorry. I already served on another jury in between. So that was, I we'll see how well that goes, or if I'll have to be on yet another jury. But I think I'll be exempt from Southern District since I'm doing the state right now. I'm going to briefly pause in my little monologue here just to check on chat. The wheels on the bus do go round and round. Hi, Crust to Crust. So awesome to have you here. And I have no idea how many pieces, which I should know because I built this once. I'm building a second time. You'd think I would have been able to count. I did not count. We'll have to do it along the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 9, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 51. 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 70, 71, 72, 76. All right, we're up to 76 with box number 1 here. So we can note that. Box number 1, 76 pieces, and we'll keep on adding, and we'll find out how many pieces in the end. Good question. That's something I never thought of. Hey, Mish, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. As always, you're always awesome, and it's lovely to have you. Thank you for stopping on by. Jury duty. So as I finish off the base of the bus here, jury duty, I would just say that I can't get any thoughts straight in my head. I will say that I was intimidated going in. So some of you have probably heard from me babbling on here in the past that I am a work in progress. I guess we all are in different ways, but by that I mean I am not out yet. I'm not full-time as myself yet. I'm very, very close to it now. Certainly with the pandemic, I've gotten to cook hidden away a lot farther than before, so that it really is a matter of time now. And my planning has been I'm out to my immediate family. I'm out to my close friends who live here. I am out to some of my coworkers. I want to come out to all of my coworkers. I want to come out to all of my extended family, and then all my friends in the past, and go live with my website and kind of be out all around. So we have another cheer. Thank you so much. We have Beach, and now it's winter school, and we have a hype train incoming. That is a first for me. That is extremely cool. Always lovely, never required, but always lovely when it happens. So thank you for getting the train going, especially since I'm not building a train this time. So all that babbling was to say, because I'm not full-time, I haven't changed my name yet. That's my plan, is to change my name and my gender marker probably in the fall. I just had my 5th session of laser. I'm hoping to have a few more, be a little bit farther along with that. And so that when I do change my name and come out to everyone, it will be at the moment where I feel confident and comfortable in how I present all the time, that I'm ready to just be Jess nonstop, which I'm certainly am in my head, and there's no one rule anyone has to follow, but my own personal aspiration is to be a little bit farther along in my physical presentation before I was ready to come out and live out all the time. So because I'm not out fully, going into jury duty was kind of a scary process. I was a little anxious on how that was going to play out, and not just the reception, but just the awkwardness of it. Because people in New York have genuinely and generally been wonderful, but I still had some anxieties of how that was going to go, or just how awkward it was going to be to have my boy name call out and have to shout out here. So that first day, yesterday, I went in. I wasn't really. I don't wear boy clothes anymore. I had a mask on because you're required to still have a mask on inside, which is good. for safety reasons and also for presentation reasons, I didn't do makeup. I kind of decided, all right, I'm going to kind of get as near to boy mode or at least androgynous mode as I get. I'm not going to try to hide that I'm me, but I'm also not going to try to actively pump it up just because I just didn't quite know what to think. Also, I had to get down there early to get downtown. I was anxious about being on time, so I decided to take it simple and not go all out in my appearance. So that's what I did. And because I did that, I definitely felt awkward. I felt very self-conscious the whole time on how do I look, how do I present, what do people think, which I know I shouldn't care about. I know people probably didn't care about, but I cared about. I was still constantly self-conscious. So that's what I was constantly on my mind while I was there. It went fine. It was awkward. I asked at one point one of the people helping with getting everyone situated and seated and talking through the process, like, hey, can I put Jess or at least Jay on my form here so that when my name's called out, it will be right. And she said, what's your legal name? I'm like, well, it's still... and she's like, that's what you gotta do. So fair enough. So I had to kind of deal with that. So it was a bit awkward. I did feel self-conscious, but everyone showing up for jury duty kind of just wants to go. Like no one's really paying attention or being involved with anyone else. So my anxieties were not necessary. Not that they were invalid, but they, no one cared. No one was reacting. Or if they cared, they definitely weren't showing it or involving me in it. So from that perspective, it was fine. It didn't really make a difference. I was mostly self-conscious, but no one else was giving me a hard time about it, thankfully. So that was yesterday. You get in there and there's this big giant room and everyone's sitting around and you kind of hear, all right, you might be waiting for hours to get pulled into a panel, and then you get reviewed, and then you get to see if you're on a trial. All that kind of stuff happens in these gradual, slow steps. And that was my experience before. I've both been on a jury and just been in a panel waiting to be on a jury and not being picked before. So I didn't know which extreme would happen, but I've experienced both. And so I was ready for that long, slow grind of just sitting around and waiting to see if you get called. I did not wait very long. They called the first 40 names for the first trial, and I was like instantly picked. I was one of the first names said. So right away, I'm reporting for a trial. I got picked up almost immediately, which is fine, of course. But like there was no, all right, hoping to wait out the day from 9 to 5 and not get picked, and then you're like, all right, you did your service, you're done. You don't have to come back for 8 years or 6 years, whatever it is. So that's why I thought I thought there was a decent possibility of that happening. That they said, all right, there's one trial today that could go for a week. That was the only one they talked about. So I'm like, all right, what are the odds I get picked for that trial? So I was picked for that trial. I got picked for that right away. Barely, we could watch the intro videos, and then immediately I got picked and got called out of the room. So then I went downstairs, and I went to the voir dire, smaller jury selection room with 40 other people, where we get to now be interviewed, be picked, and reviewed to see if these counselors, if these lawyers wanted us on their trial. Once again, it's a room where there's 40 people. And for this, they're going to pick 12 people and go through those 12 people. And then if they need to take people out of that group of 12, then they'll swap in with other folks from the back. And then they're only going to take 8 of those 12. So there's still, once again, decent odds I'm not going to get picked. I was number 11 of the 12, so I had a 25% chance, or around, to be in that first group, and I was totally in that first group, and then got called up, and right away I'm there, I'm in it, I'm being reviewed, and I knew once I was in that 12, I'm like, all right, odds are I'm going to be on this jury. Like, it's very little chance I am not going to get picked, and that was the case. I ended up on that trial, on that jury. Now I gotta say, for all that I talked about there, I'm fine with that. Like I think it is a good civic service. I'm happy to provide it. You never know if you're going to be on a grand jury or a petite jury, or if it's going to be criminal or civil. So for all the circumstances of it, and I can't really say anything about that, I'm still happy with what it is. It's something that I know how long it's going to be. I feel comfortable about it. I have less anxiety than I did about the last trial I was on, which I still struggle with. Did we do the right verdict? I was the foreperson in that one, so I felt extra responsibility for sort of talking people to my point of view, and if that was the right one. It was a much tougher, closer call than I expected from what you see on TV. It was definitely not an easy experience, and I don't handle conflict or making people feel bad well. So even though it was probably the right decision, it's still something that gave me a lot of anxiety. So I feel a little better going into this trial. Yeah, and it's also kind of nice. I had friends who told me, all right, go there and get all dolled up, and there's no way they'll put you on a jury, which concerned me. Like that felt weird to say, oh, well, if I'm like almost visibly trans, they won't seat me. That felt problematic. That's not really right. That's not how it should be. I know if I ever have to be on trial or in a civic trial, I would like a trans person to be there in the jury. Like that felt, I think it was a well-meaning colleague who said that in the notion of the sort of the universal notion of getting out of jury duty that people seem to believe is the norm. But that felt actually weird to me, that I would like want to not just to get out of jury duty, but I would use my transness to do so. And it was kind of nice and reassuring that it wasn't a factor at all. Not only that, but everyone was great. So as awkward as it was to have to answer to my boy name over and over again, there did come a moment in that smaller group where I was able to talk to both attorneys and say, hey, you can't tell, like, this is the deal. I would prefer to just answer to Jay. And they were like, of course. And then they're like, Miss, and they say my last name. Like they were both great about it and have continued to be. So that was kind of reassuring, that as awkward as it was because of my paperwork, the people have been great about it. And I have just been able to be a regular citizen doing my duty. So today was the first day of the trial. It was a long day and a dry day, but this time, now that they're calling me Miss and they know to call me as Jay, and that it's kind of on the table what my deal is, and not something I'm awkwardly not sure about. This is what I've looked like all day. I had my contacts in earlier because they have to wear a mask and it fogs up less without my glasses. But yeah, this is how I was presenting. I had less cleavage too there, but this is what I wore to jury duty today, and yeah, and that will continue through next week. So I'll be doing that for a little while now. Okay, that was a long monologue. Done with one tray, the smaller of the trays. I do have more pieces in this next bit, so let's keep it going. All right, I think it's the roof, that's the back door. I think this is next. I think this is the next piece. I'll find out. All right, so you've been hearing me monologue for a while. How are you doing? How are folks? How is life? How are things? Have you been on juries? Where are you up to? Let me know. Let each other know. Let's chat, huh? See how we're doing. As I go, and as I take a sip, I have the tiny remainder left of what was called a Ghostbuster, I believe. Now I don't anymore. It is an ounce and a half of vodka, an ounce and a half of Kahlua, and an ounce and a half of Bailey's. It is delicious. So for those of you who are able to drink or like to and can do so responsibly, I do recommend it. It is tasty. I did 5 zeros in a row. I really did. But I can't say it was bad. Like, I'm glad, if I'm going to serve, these are, I think, some of the best circumstances to do so, and one of the best times to do so. There's never like a perfect time. There's always different conflicts that we have in life. But as it turned out, this time around, I was I was gonna say, we have at work what we call focus weeks, which is a lovely idea. It's the notion that you will only do. Oh, I'm sorry. You will not take meetings for a week, sometimes two. That that no one should be putting meetings on anyone's calendars. That for a focus week time period, it's all about getting your stuff done and not having to be caught up in meetings. Because a lot of my time, I know a lot of other people at work's time, is consumed nonstop by meetings. And some of those are valuable. They can be very productive, but they still are very time consuming. It's tough just to go through your inbox. It's tough just to catch up on your trainings, other kinds of things like that. So it's a constant struggle to kind of stay abreast of things because of meetings. And so I've been looking forward to focus weeks. The first focus week, I was on vacation. I wasn't able to really appreciate it. My second focus week, we were prepping for the launch of Pfizer.com, the new design that went live at the end of the year. And taking focus week was just not possible. Could not do it, could not step away to take that time. And now, third focus week, since they've introduced them, and I'm on jury duty. So I continue to completely miss focus week. So it's a conspiracy, I'm convinced. But one of these days, I will get to know what focus week is like, and it will be so, so delicious. I know it will be. All right, so starting on the front of the bus here, and as you can see, not only do we have the, oh, there we go, front of the bus, we got the little, here, the grill of the bus. I also have a little like pointy part, and it's partly to do like a little ornament kind of thing on it, but also because, again, of the tough business of a 5-stud wide front, where I have these two stud wide pieces to kind of create that little slope, that little step down over top of the grill. Sorry, I can't remember where to move my hands. That there. There's nothing that's an odd number of this piece, so I had to put something different there. So I did something different in between that could kind of be a little front of the bus, a little hood ornament. So that's what I did. So I like to think it was a creative solution to there is no piece for this problem. All right, where was I? Other side now. Right, a longer one. All right. The rule of the jury duty is to not talk about what is discussed in the case of jury duty. So I can't talk about the case at all. But it's not, and if you're on a grand jury, sometimes there's different constrictions, but those don't usually apply to the jurors. It's usually about other people involved in the process. So I can tell you that I'm on a jury. I just can't say anything about the case, the plaintiff or defendant. That is entirely... I can't say anything until after jury duty is concluded. Then I can, but not now. All right. Cool. Okay. So now we're going to fill in this other side of the bus. So this side has that little step down part where the door is going to go, and then this side can be long and solid. So I'll use this long yellow brick here to kind of lock things in a little bit. I talked about this before, especially when I built the Subarus and how difficult it was to do some of them because of the colors. So this is a very common piece, this little inverted slope, right, where the studs are on top and the holes in the bottom. So instead of slope down, it slopes up. And it goes nicely here beside the wheel wells because it looks flush. It also leaves room for the tire to spin. So this is nice to have when you have a color that actually has that piece in it. And so I'm obviously able to do that. There's lots of that in yellow, so I'm able to do that with the wheel wells here. Put these around it here. Right. Just checking what I did on the other side so I'm consistent. All right, so back here we're going to start to do some things. They're a little bit more interesting or difficult. I'm going to take these little headlamp pieces. I've seen this before. I'm going to take this little light gray piece and stick it on the back of it. I'm going to do that on another one, so 2 of these. And then I'm going to take, well, once I can do that, it's not the easiest always to go in there. Hey, there we go. So I got that little headlamp piece here. And now I'm going to stick this rod in there. Now I'm going to put this one on the other end. I don't know if they had these quite the right distance. I'm going to have to play around with it to, again, be 7 studs wide to go across the back here. But this is going to kind of hold things in place for a feature that I think is pretty nifty. You'll get to see it as I build it later on. But there is a reason I did this. This is not me just randomly slapping stuff together. There is a very practical reason for this little bar here towards the back of the bus. All right. I do have a Focus Week curse. That is so true. Solid PDF with parts. Oh, that's a good question, Carrie. Yeah, so the... no, sorry, it's Carrie and not Kari, but let me know if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. I know you've said it before, and I'm just mental blanking right now when we did the Discord chat. But I'm not doing PDFs and designs. It's not because I don't like it or don't believe it, because that would be awesome. It would be great to share those things. A big part of it is because I don't plan ahead, right? So it's not possible for me, for most of my buildings, to do designs or to do instructions in parts lists, because I have no idea what parts are going to do them until after the fact, and I don't have the energy to break them back down to find out what I put in them in the first place. This is kind of a rare exception, at least in part because it's smaller, and I'm doing this planning ahead. So maybe that would change in the future, but right now that's why I haven't done it for modular buildings, because for this sucker I have no idea what's in there. So I couldn't do a parts list for it. And instructions are even harder, because there's some great programs that let you do these awesome constructions, awesome instructions, that you can design your entire thing in a CAD program, a computer assisted design program. There's several there explicitly for Lego, and they'll not only let you construct it virtually, but you can also then print out not only the parts list, but also all of the step-by-step instructions that went into making it. The challenge is that you have to use that CAD program. You have to know how to use it, and then you have to have the patience to actually do the construction bit by bit in that program, and that is where I fall down again. Because again, I'm building this stuff on the fly. I have not had the patience to go in and slowly, painstakingly recreate what I had fuddled my way through in real life, and turn that into an instruction. And so because I haven't had the patience to do that, I don't have the result. I don't have the digital reconstruction and subsequent instructions that go with it. So that's why I don't currently have instructions. But a very good question. I would love to have them. I don't know if it's realistic I ever will, just because the thought of that effort is not currently worth it for me. Feels rough to say that, but it's true. All right. Right. Yeah, you can be sequestered for a variety of reasons. Grand jury is also rough because it might be like a day a week for a month, for a year. There's all kinds of different durations of different juries that aren't petite, that aren't trial juries. So I've been conscious that if you get called up for grand jury, you might be into a much, much longer commitment. Due to the much shorter and succinct nature of what it is that they are reviewing, where they're just trying to decide, is there enough for a case, not decide the merits of the case. All right, so that goes there. Oh, this is cool. I'm doing a little stop sign. Right, so I have a little sign there. I'll put a little red on there. Unfortunately, I couldn't find this white piece in red. I would have liked to do that, but we do have a little bit of red on it, so it can swing out. So I'm going to put that here. And so opposite the door will be a little stop sign. They'll swing out. Stop traffic. Keep things safe for kids crossing to the other side of the street from the bus. All right, how did the back of this bus go? Did I not take a picture? Because I have an extra yellow piece and I don't quite know where it goes. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, here's what's happening. I'm trying to cheat and go back to what I built before and study where the heck some of these pieces came from. No, this fills it just fine. This would go here. Oh, I'm breaking off the bumper. What the hell is this for? What is this piece? All right, that will be interesting. We'll find out at some point. That's for darn sure. Okay, whatever. For now, we'll assume that there's a plan and that goes somewhere else, and we'll discover that somewhere else along the way. Don't forget to do your doot-doos when you're building. Those are very key steps of the building process, is to sing your doot-doos. I never leave home without them. Okay. So, got a good framework here, right? Good little base for the bus. Right, now I'm going to put in a place for the driver to sit. I'm hoping that's where the yellow piece comes in. That's something involved in that. I don't remember it, but it's always possible. Yes, it's the base of the steering wheel. Ah, I'm an idiot. All right. So, steering wheel, black chair. We got our bus driver there. This actually came from an official Lego bus driver set. I got some stickers on there I liked, and so I kept the bus driver. So we have our driver here, and we're gonna have a little set of tools, a little lever that opens and closes the door so she can let the kids on the bus. I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna stick that on top of that. We're gonna put those controls right here. And we're going to put her in right here. And as you notice here, this is another 3x3 base, but she's only 2 studs wide. But I use those jumper plates to offset her in the middle so that she can more easily fit in between things and her arms won't bump into things. They won't take up as much space. So she's still on the left side of the bus, on the driver's side, but not all the way flush to the left, which gives a little bit more room around her, which is a little bit easier to fit the figure in and not fit her in as awkwardly as it would be if I had to wedge her in there. All right, and then we have the benches. Oh, we'll put in the door. I've had a door that has like black bars across. I wanted to use that because I thought it looked more right, but I couldn't find one. I guess I've already used all of the ones I have, so I put in a glass door for now. Might swap that with another door in the future. Got our yellow door frame. And so now you can already see how tall the bus is going to be. But this little slope piece that was at the bottom here lets me set the door down lower, so I'm not making the bus be awkwardly tall. Also, it's easier to get onto since the door is lower to the ground. You don't have to step up as much. Right. So we have 2 rows of seats here. Again, this is why we made the bus be 7 studs wide, so I can put these beside each other and they're not touching each other. There's room in between them for a little aisle down the middle of the bus, and for the kids to sit in their seats and not have to like stagger them, that they can actually sit side by side rather than in front and behind each other. So I'll put this in here. I put this little brick up here, and I have the wheel well here, and just popping this down right on top of it. And boom, we got room for 8 kids, the driver, you step on up, pass on through, down the aisle, boom. Now this area back here is empty for a reason, and you will see why. It's not probably on a normal bus of this size. It was just a cool detail from the official set that I decided to make my own version of, incorporate into this. Now you'll see what that is in a moment. I forgot to count the pieces. I forgot to count the pieces. All right, let's see if I can do this. Do this quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 29, 1, 62. Oh, hold on, a little bit more. 90. I'm counting the minifigure as one piece, which it shouldn't, but I'm going to do that. 90. So we had 76, we have 90. We are up to 166. I'm gonna do this. I said I'd do it. I'm gonna do it, even if you have to boringly watch me wait while I do it. Well, you have to wait. You don't have to watch me wait. I am so babbling. I hope you don't mind. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're keeping up and keeping along, and it's not too boring or confusing, and that you can hear me still. All right, but we'll keep going. All right, we have a good chunk of the bus now. Now we're going to build the sides. So we'll get the purple box out. It's for you, Ashley. Purple box time. All right. Jessica, you're the black box. Sleek. All right. No one else has to know what that is, and that's okay. That can just be a random mystery discussion right there. Okay, so we are going to build the walls and a little bit of structure to the walls and places for the roof to attach to with this. So what that means is I am going to do some things that will be somewhat random but should come together nicely for the size of the bus. And one of them is this. This is something to help it, the whole bus have a little bit more solidity, so you can grab it from the sides and the whole bus won't smush in together. Which sometimes happens with the engine on the train. The back of the engine has an empty void for the battery pack, which means if I try to grab the train from the back, it could, smush in because there's no battery pack to hold the walls in place. So I didn't want the same thing where I grabbed the bus on the sides and then like break the windows in because there wasn't structure. So this little piece is a crossbar. It's going to help hold the bus and give it a little bit more structural integrity. Great. And we'll do the front, which I think was more simple. Yeah. So I've said before how there are no odd number windshields, and this is the proof of that. This is a 6 stud wide window. So obviously I don't want the window to be on one side or the other side of the bus. I want it to be nicely centered. So I have these jumper plates, these yellow jumper plates here that this can clip onto. So it can still be centered and be a 6 stud wide window on a 7 stud wide bus. There, you can see that there. So that's that deal. So it's going on here. And so we're going to have school bus sign. We're going to have some orange lights, some flashing lights. We'll have side view mirrors. These guys. Great. Yes, let me go across the bottom. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, the sticker got a little off center. How'd that even happen? That's annoying. No, I'll fix it later. Put this down the middle. Down here, and so I'm going to clip this on, clip this on, and now we have a windshield with a school bus and lights in the front and 2 side view mirrors hanging down, tall side view mirrors of the bus. So that's a cool little bit there. And now we're going to do, all right, the framework of the bus. So this is, pardon my lean over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 on that side, And that's the front. Okay. Great. 1, 2, 1, and 1. Okay. This will be back. Okay. So put this here. This is going to be a little hinge for a door on the back of the bus. I'll do that. And this will go on top. And we'll do another headlamp with a light for the red lights at the back of the bus. Some higher up brake lights on the back. We'll start putting in the windows. Cool. Alright, check in. Looks like people are still doing okay. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're not falling asleep while I slowly do this. It's one of those things that's tough to gauge at times. I don't want to be silent. I can get kind of consumed. I always wonder what it's like for those folks. I've said it before, and by golly, I'll say it again. I really appreciate those of you who choose to stop by and spend your time here. It's too kind, and it makes this enjoyable. It makes this hobby something that I do again, which I kind of stopped for a while. It's not because I ever stopped loving it. I just got so busy with other things. A large part just transitioning, just figuring that out and finding a new social life, which I don't regret at all. I love every second of, but it also meant that I wasn't always doing other things I enjoyed, like this. I wasn't building anymore because I was just discovering what it meant to actually be myself a lot of the time. And so this definitely fell by the wayside as I explored a whole new life. And so getting to come back to it a bit, getting to spend some of the time building again, and having this as a motivation where I get to be here, spend time with you, get to enjoy this whole new experience of streaming, even when I can't figure out half the tech. And gain to also contribute its own way to that identity by having being this on a channel where so many of those creating and contributing happen to be trans. That's an awesome thing. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I very, very much appreciate it. And now you also feel guilty you can't leave, right? Because I said all that. So now you're stuck. So sorry. It's what it's going to happen. So, deal. Right? I amuse myself sometimes. All right, let me see where we're going here. This is pretty good progress. All right. Do 2 here and 2 up here. All right. Now, can I see where these other pieces go? Yeah. Of course I didn't take a picture of that. Why would I have taken a picture of that? That'd be too easy and helpful. Ah. All right, that's okay. Keeps it interesting. So what I was whining about is trying to figure out what pieces go on the back here to help bring all this together. I'm pretty sure that's right. Let me try to guess at what piece goes. Right, okay. Super long bit there. Super long bit here. Right, we'll just do one up here. And 4 there. Nice. Okay. On this side. 3 and 6. And then 3. All right. So I had to figure out a lot of this before, and it is helpful to have already figured it out and not have to redo it all. I will say there are advantages to this, even though it requires setting aside a couple or a few extra hours in advance to do it all. But that's better than boring you while I figure out what's even possible and what I want to do. And now you get to see the result of that pre-thinking in this construction. And that's what we can start to do if there's time on the school itself. Oh, but you can hear things out this window? Crap, I'm sorry. Heather, I really do tune it out. Plus, I guess I haven't quite known what the gain is like in general, so to know how much sound is leaking out through here. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. If that's been either annoying or tough to hear over. If nothing else, I can spend more time after this trying to maybe diagnose settings. And if people have thoughts on how to do that too, that's much appreciated. Okay. So this step is nearly done. So I mentioned that little cross beam, and that goes right there. That's gonna sit in front of it all right there. So this is 7 studs wide, that's 6, but it's still gonna, next to jumper plates, fit nicely together. All right, so let's see what we're up to now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 36, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81. All right, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. 5. 101. So that brings us up to 267 so far. 267 pieces for the school bus. Give or take a couple pieces, because I've probably been off. All right, so now it's really kind of coming together, right? You can kind of make out the school bussy nature of it all. So we have a solid. We got the 2 black lines, which are common to so many U.S. school buses. So I'm feeling happy about this. I'm feeling good about, I'm feeling good again, since I did this before, about how the school bus is coming together and what it's looking like. So now, I mentioned sort of that mysterious back part, what I was looking for. Now we're going to get into that part. Alrighty. I'm glad you are stuck here. I'm glad you're there's no place you all would rather be. I much appreciate it. And yes, it can be very loud, especially if you go to the more touristy locations. It gets crazy loud. People are always like, they go to Times Square and like, how can you live here? And I'd be like, I don't know. I can't live here either. I don't live in those spots. I live in the Upper East Side, where it is mostly quieter, except when my window's open because it's boiling hot, and you're hearing what happens on 2nd Avenue over here in this part of my apartment. Because I'm towards, there's 4 apartments per floor, and I moved from that apartment to this apartment, and just coming one unit over closer to 2nd Avenue, which is a couple buildings over and down there. Definitely louder. Not when my windows are closed. I don't really hear anything. But when the windows are open, because I have lower condominiums, or not condos, brownstones behind me, there's definitely an easier path down to the noise, down to the street. I can see 2nd Avenue actually down over there, which is not common. If there's taller buildings around, or if I was back to back with another tall apartment building, I wouldn't be able to see it and hear it. But there's nothing to block the noise coming straight out from 2nd Avenue over there. All right, so I've been semi-distractedly looking over there and doing this, right? That goes there. That goes across from it, there, and there. And then we're going to do these little double hook pieces, and I'm going to attach them to this bar. I'm going to take these 2 inner pieces and attach them to the 2 little poles I put on the front of this little unit I built right here. I'll slide them out a little bit. They're a little close together. And then I'm going to take these 2 ends and attach it to that gray bar you saw me stick in at the start. It should fit perfectly. And so now we have a wheelchair elevator. So it comes down over, oh, bumper's popping off. Ah, everything's popping off. All right, the bumper. This comes down over the bumper, down to the ground. You'll see when I have the wheels on, this actually touches the ground. That can fold off, wheelchair can come on. Can go back up again. And then, because I have these 2 hinges on here, I can kind of push it inside, and boom, it rests in there, flush with the back door that we're gonna put on there. The wheelchair fits on top of there, and ta-da, we now have a wheelchair accessible school bus. So that will continue into the school as well for our differently abled friends. We can make sure that we can get them into the school bus and on their way to an education. All right, now the rear door here. I think I said we were up to 267. Let me just quickly check what this added on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 more pieces for 281. Can't do math anymore. All right. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 290, 291, 293, 94, 95. Up to 295 total. Great, great. So this is a very fragile thing right now. It'll get a little bit stronger as I add these plates on here. Hey, hi, Shim and Shim, you are correct. Lego streams exist. There aren't many out there, but there are a few. A lot you'll see that do reviews of sets, or they'll build real sets. This is all custom Lego creations. So that's what I do, is my own designs. So I like to think it's not as common even among those uncommon Lego streams. And here we've added the back door to our bus. So boom, there we go. Emergency exit / handicapped accessible entrance in the back of the bus. Our seats all fit nicely together. Our school bus is shaping up, so not too shabby. But yes, once a month we do other builders. This is on the show called Builders Block. We have other builders on, but I'm the one that does Lego stuff. So if you like this, you'll see me once a month, but you can also see awesome Star Wars droids being created by Emily as well. So fun things to see, plus many, many other awesome shows here on the Transverse Network. Lego building is just a small soupçon of the awesomeness that's on here. Okay, now we're going to build the roof. I'm also going to take a sip of Diet Coke. Cool. Okay. So we are nearing the end of the school bus. So we'll have a little time to draw the school. That is good. All right, what was I going to do with this? So for the school bus, I had a bunch of these parts. I didn't have as many as I needed, though, to do the entire roof. But I realized I could use that to my advantage and make a little spot on the bus where they have like a little vent in the back, a little rooftop emergency exit. So that's what I did. That's what is going to happen here, is that we are going to turn this slight lack of pieces into an advantage. Let me double check what I did with that. So that is towards the front of the bus. That's right. Put that there. Boom. 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 Most of the roof. Now we can fill in the rest. That goes that way. Oh. These little yellow studs on top there to fit down in and make this a little bit more solid when it clips together. This roof is a little flimsy. I can make it stronger, but I didn't want to lower the clearance inside the bus. I want to make sure there's enough room for the students' heads to sit in the chairs. So I kept it at that height for now. And then let's see. Right. This stick out here. I put this frame in the middle to hold it all together. Take these smooth tiles on the outside. Ta-da! All right, quick check before I finish it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that brings it to 297, 317 pieces for the school bus. And one last kind of cool thing I want to show with this. So we'll pop the wheels that will go round and round on the school bus. And then I mentioned how this is 7 studs wide, right? This awkward width that makes it easier for people but tougher to build. This roof is still 6 studs wide, right? This isn't 7. I don't want it to be awkward on just one side or the other of the bus. So once again, we have jumper plates here and here. And then the 6 stud wide windshield, which was offset already underneath, has 2 studs here. So now I can clip this down at the 6 stud width and it will still fit nicely across the whole bus. And because it's only those couple points, it's also easy enough to take the roof off and put people inside. And so there we go. Our school bus is done. Oh, and a little tailpipe fell off. That will fall off. The bumper and the tailpipe will fall off less now that the wheels are on. They were hitting the ground. Now the wheels will stop them from hitting the ground and popping off. All right. So here's our bus. It has a stop sign coming out, stopping people from getting on board. So I like to think a quality creation. Nice, nice. There's my hand. There's the screen. There's the camera. So here's the school bus. And yeah, I'm happy with this design. I thought the wheelchair accessible bit, I was glad I was able to figure out how to do that, how to put that on there. And not only a cool idea, period, and a nice consideration, also let me use the sticker from the set. So that was kind of dual purpose and a good reminder of being inclusive even in our fictional Lego constructions. So there's my school bus. That's that. Yeah, this is my own design, so I only do custom Lego creations. So this is custom, this building's behind me, and this ship are custom. That admittedly is the official Everyone is Awesome set, but the train there is custom. And it's not just this stuff. You can also see so much more on my website. If I can get my mouse over to the right screen, justjess42.com, which not only talks a little about me, and you get to see reruns of past episodes that I've been on. I don't know why anyone would want to watch that, because it'd just be 2 hours of me talking to no one, because you can't see the chat, but still, they're there if you want to see them. I do have this little creations tab, which highlights some of the things that I've built in the past. And I also appreciate, because there's also a direct link to all of my albums, which are on Flickr, so you can see all the things I've created and some of the bigger builds and collaborations I've contributed to. So yeah, that's if you want to see more of the things I built, they are all custom, and you can find them at justjess42.com, which is my site. And I'll also say this is noteworthy too, because it's very much a work in progress. I did build this to kind of get to show off some of these things I made and some of the things that I enjoyed. This one of many nerdy aspects of me gets expressed on this site. But I also have been slowly working on the trans talk section, because this is also going to be part of my coming out to the broader collection of people I've known throughout my past, throughout my history. I want to, and I've been coming out one-on-one to a large number of people, but I know there's going to be so many more that I might not have the chance to, or I might miss, or who are more acquaintances I haven't been in touch with in a long time. And so I thought having this site available, so that when I do a Facebook coming out, a LinkedIn coming out, being able to share this link as well will be maybe a nice way for those folks I don't get to talk to immediately. I have not done the 101 and faith and hope and fears section yet, but I did finally, after months and months, finish the My Story part, which got so much longer than I ever imagined. But I finally at least gave it a capper, so it is there and it's slightly intact. If you do see an error in there, please let me know, or a part that doesn't make sense. But my story is now at least complete on my site, so that's up there too, as well as the Lego creations. And eventually I'll finish the About Me section with my resume. And not that I'm not looking, I'm very happy where I am, but I didn't want to post it because I just didn't want to out myself, since there's more details on there. So that's one other section I'll complete when I finally come out to everyone, is that I'll finish off that attachment. And then that should be my whole site, and I will be fully out, and hopefully this fall, which is the current plan. Yes, I found it helpful. Gary, it's not always helpful to put the wheels on last. It's debatable on this one, since the structure of the bus was so low that maybe it would have been better to have them on earlier, since it wasn't an even bottom. But a lot of vehicles, I find, because the bottom is flat, it's easier to leave the wheels off, so that the whole thing isn't sliding around, or that itself isn't creating unevenness, or you push down the middle and the whole thing breaks because the wheels are suspending the middle off of the ground. So I usually put wheels on last in all my vehicles. And that's true not just of me, but of official Lego sets too. Cool. So that's step one of the school set that I want to build, which will be a whole schoolhouse, a whole thing. And I was thinking schools can be enormous buildings. And while Legos are always a different weird scale, the minifig scale, I did want to have a degree of accuracy. I wanted to do, like, all my buildings have bathrooms, and they have stairs and elevators. I'd like to make it not be... That always frustrated me as a kid. I guess there was a part of me that was a little, like an anal retentive little kid that wanted to have these very precise things in my Lego buildings growing up. That I didn't like that most of the Lego buildings didn't have a back. It was just open, and people would just teleport floor to floor. That always bugged me. I wanted a more complete building. And so that's something I try to include here. So I was thinking about what kind of school could I build. And if I wanted to build a high school or even a middle school, those suckers are enormous, and they have so many facilities and gyms and all these different things. And even small schools still have those, or elementary schools do. But I thought I could maybe start with an elementary school and make it be a much smaller, maybe it's a private little academy or something. I could get something that was a little bit more proportionate to what I could actually construct with the pieces I actually own, while still feeling like I was properly representing the school. So my thinking right now is to build something that would be 4 base plates in size. And sorry, I'm going to quickly check questions because I think I saw some. I mean, there will be a train in town, so the LGBTQ train could drive through the town, but it will not be connected directly to the school. That's dangerous. You don't want kids to get hit by trains, so you have to have some distance between the school and the train yard. Well, I was going to say, so base plates, right? So this, you might be familiar with, is the standard Lego base plate. It is 10 inches by 10 inches, 32 studs by 32 studs. This is the common base construction of all of the Lego modulars. Again, referring to these buildings. I'm referring to these buildings and these buildings. This would be a great example of a Lego modular layout where lots of different people built buildings to the modular standard, and then we were able to throw all of our different buildings together because they all fit that same standard. And so here's trains and elevated trains and monorails and all kinds of stuff running through all kinds of different themes here. But the base level of every set, of every construction is back to, wrong thing, the base plate. This is the base standard to which all other things go when you're talking about Lego modular buildings. And so my thinking again is to do something that's 4 of these, 4 in a square. I'm going to build an L-shaped building, but then I figure that one of these squares will be the playground the kids can go out onto. And then that whole school will take up 4 base plates of space. So, and probably go through a block, through a city block. So you'd be building, and then back of the school with a sidewalk behind the school and a sidewalk in front of the school. And the whole thing will be across these 4 base plates. So that's why I wanted to take a stab at starting to sketch, thinking about how would this lay out, how would this look. And from there, we can start to build it over future streams and make that school happen. So I got some paper here. Thank you. I was really happy with this ship. For all that I usually do town stuff, I love this ship and how it came out. And that's one too where you don't necessarily get to see all the things that are inside of it. But I did manage to pack in a decent amount of detail into it. And so it does, open up just like a modular building does, where there is, let me go to the album here. So there's a gun deck underneath with all of the cannon and the cannonballs and powder and all this kind of stuff all lined up. You can go not only in there, but also there's 2 levels in the stern of the ship. That there's like a little couple, like an officer's cabin with a couple bunks and some wine and stuff there that lifts out. And that's just underneath the deck with the wheel. Is that the poop deck? I don't really know. Whatever. It's on top of that, and then underneath of that was another level with the captain's quarters. So it kind of goes up. You can go up those stairs into the level with the bunk beds, or you can go down the stairs and open up that door. And underneath was, if I can find it. Come on. All right. Apparently I'm going the wrong way here. There is, there's a picture of it. Oh, here. There's looking all the way down. So there's a table and chair and map, and there's other little, the treasure chest. That was sort of like the captain's quarters. There we go. There's their bed. There's their cabinet. There's the door. There's some built-in cabinetry and shelves and little accoutrements on there. So that was my my captain's quarters. And then on top of that goes the officers' quarters. And then, of course, all the crew are on hammocks way down in the very bottom of the ship, but you can't see that. Or between the guns. And that's the deck that lays on top of it. And then there's where the masts continue up to the top. But since it's such a pain in the ass to take the masts off, no one will probably ever see that again. That will be annoying forever inside my ship there. Well, I that's a great idea, Logic Buster, to build a courthouse, but I actually have a courthouse. So I like to think, and that was actually inspired, I think, by my first jury duty, where I did make, it's a little awkward. It's not perfect. Again, it's one of those things where in an ideal world, I would probably build a much bigger building, even for so small of a courthouse, but it does exist. And so I have my courthouse with even three different color roofs for it. But it does have a gallery and then the lower deck, and there's the jury and the prosecutor and defendant and court officer, stenographer. Oh no, that's a stenographer. That's clerk, judge, witness. All that kind of good stuff. So I managed to squeeze in a good package of stuff into my little Lego courthouse. The judge's chambers, who apparently is British. One-on-one interview room. Downstairs was the jury deliberation room. And there's the stairwell up to there. The entrance had, where was that? So many pictures. Oh, here's the ground floor. So jury deliberation room, the front entrance, metal detector, benches to wait, bathrooms, elevator. You go upstairs to the main courtroom. So good thought. I did do a courthouse. I have not done a bouncy castle, but I can totally have it behind the elementary school. And you're right. I know elementary schools have gyms. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in. But you know what? Let's find out. Let's try to build a little bit of a gym. All right. So I made a special scene for this to try to zoom in a little bit closer than my normal build screen, which is way up high. I tried to zoom in a little bit, so hopefully it won't be too fuzzy, but here we go. And this is where you can also see how even this is more planning than what I usually do when I build something. So this is obviously a rectangular sheet of paper, so it is not be able to very well express the squares. So imagine that the squares extend off up here. I'm thinking if I can build the front of the school, I could do a wing and then sort of a module and then another wing, that if I know what this wing looks like, I can kind of project what that wing will look like. So I don't need to use all that space, but I can get a rough sense of where the different base plates. So each one of these squares represents one of these, and then more will go here, 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 here. And so I have little tiny notches, I don't know if you can see that are where each of the 32 studs are, to get a sense of what space will take up what. Yes, and sorry again, I'm seeing these so delayed from when you actually asked it, Shaman Shim, but yes, all of that is available on justjust42.com or a click away from it to my Flickr album. So you can get to them from justjust42.com on the Creations tab. All right. Oh, I do have a head at the front of the ship. There was a little space for the bathroom up there, which I think is where it is on normal ships. On some old brigantines, that's a brig, which is the rigging I have on there. A brigantine. Okay, so how to lay this out? Part of me is like I have this precise thing, but part of me also just wants to sketch freehand to get a general sense of what I was thinking. Because I was thinking that there would be how do I want to do this? The top-down layout or the front layout? I'm going to start at the front of the layout. I was thinking something kind of like this for the building. That there's a taller section and then a lower section, wing coming off to the side. And again, extending back from this section. Shoot, this is so bright. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see it. It helps me if I turn off. That made a little difference. All right. I will try to draw a little bit stronger here. I'm drawing all delicately because I didn't know I was doing it, but I'll draw a little bit more firmly so you can see maybe a little bit clearer the kind of thing I'm thinking about. So this is the general sense, not precise, but the general sense of what I was imagining for the school. And I like to do things asymmetrically. I find that sometimes a little bit more visually interesting. Some buildings are gorgeous, symmetrical, just like my courthouse or like my town hall. But generally speaking, my preference is to build things a little bit more asymmetrically. So that's my thinking. Cool. All right. So let me think. So I'm thinking they'll be kind of, I don't know why that was so wide, but we'll do, a series of tall windows into the classrooms, get some sun in there on the kids while they're doing their book learning and science learning and art learning. And I don't know why I'm suddenly adopting a semi-southern accent for that, but you get the idea. So we'll do some windows. I don't know if it'll actually be 6. We'll do the counting out on the studs to see how many will go in there. Man, this is rough. I'm doing this a little sloppier than I would normally do, but I want to do enough in the next 14 minutes that you can get a sense of what I'm thinking. This is kind of what I'm picturing, right? All right, some million windows there. I'm thinking I'm thinking all this will probably have a kind of reddish color, maybe orangish red. This would be like a little gray stone kind of treatments. There'll be like little frilly bits there to make that a little bit more visually interesting. There will probably be the start of a basement that would be partly above ground. So the actual ground would be down here. Which also means that there can be steps up to the entrance, which I think would be nice to have the kids go up. And then there'll probably be also a little built-in elevator here, because again, we want to be accessible. A little elevator for differently abled folks to be able to go up from the ground to the entrance. And then imagining a larger stone framed doorway that maybe ladders back and in a little bit. Kind of what I'm vaguely imagining. It's a nice big double doors into the school. I don't know what's up here, if these are symbols or windows or a sign, but yeah, entrance to the school, right? And then it would also extend a little bit off over here. Yeah, I don't know if there'll be a window here or not. Maybe not. But there's a reason for that, which I'm picturing in my head. But that's what I'm thinking. And then maybe there'd be a roof, too, right? I don't know if it would be a flat roof. Maybe there'd be a pitched roof here angled back. You could even have dormers. You can do a whole never-ending story, roof attic kind of thing going on. But that's possible. I don't know for sure about the roof. But that's kind of roughly what I'm thinking. And then... good question of how what would go up here. Would they be more individual windows, or would it be one big window? I don't know. We'll do individual windows for now. This is so ugly. I like to think I can draw better than this, but that's okay. You get the rough sense. This is what I'm kind of envisioning for that entry-level street level view of the school. There'd be the little basement casement windows down here, and then back behind here there'd be another wing just like this going off the back of this, and then there'd be the playground in the middle. Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of picturing, if that makes sense, if you can kind of imagine that there. And of course you can put I don't know if we're going to put trans like above the doors, because I don't know. It's not only for trans kids. I think we want to, have moments of pride in lots of different ways throughout the school. So maybe ways to recreate the Progress Pride flag and put that in visible places in the school to support children of all identities. So That's what I'm kind of envisioning. Not to say no to that. That's just where I want to take it. I'm conscious that trans isn't even the only facet of me, and I want to express that in my building as well. All right, what was I saying? The iris should close some. You mean on my camera? Is this a bad level of zoom? Is that what you're suggesting? Sorry, I'm like very belatedly catching up on a lot of comments, plus the time delay. All right, sorry. So, all right, now I got a sense here of what that could be. So I'm gonna start from the end over here. I'm gonna start like counting out some things over here because I can see having 2 studs and in between each of these windows. These windows are maybe each 4 studs wide. So let's see how long that would go if I keep to that measurement. Most of the modular buildings have very consistent sidewalks. And so there is a light gray front border that goes all the way across. Then there's another 1 stud level layer that's for grates, and then another 2, maybe, so 6 is usually like the kind of the minimum sidewalk on most Lego buildings. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be right here. So this is how far back. I should have gotten a ruler. I'll use the base plate. Well, that's right. I looked for a ruler and I could not find one. I assume I still have them, but I don't know where they are. But all right, that's okay. None of this has to be precise anyway. This is just to give me a sense of what pieces to pick out. So if that's the sidewalk, that's how far back the building is from the street. Then right around here is where we can start to do our counting. So we'd have 2 in for the wall, and then we'd have 4 for the window. 1, 2, 3, 4. And count another 2 for wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I didn't really aim very well. Then another 2, and then another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can kind of get a sense of, on those rare occasions I plan ahead, this is usually the bare level of planning that I do, is that maybe I do a sketch or a sense of dimensions so that I can try to get off on a decent ground, even if I know that might change a lot when I actually get to the actual execution of the building. Yes, Midvani, there is a time delay in these 20 blocks. And it's different. There's different time delays in this apartment. I look at Twitch on this computer, on the Surface tablet above me here, and this is 35 seconds behind. On my iPad, it's 21 seconds behind. Oh no, reversed. 21 second delay, 35 second delay. No idea why. But it keeps it interesting, right? We get to shake it up, and you get to eventually hear an answer to a question you asked 9 hours ago. So that's how we make it interesting. Nope, wrong one. That one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like the do's are important for building, the doots are important for counting. So make sure you express your counting correctly. Okay, 1 base plate gets us 5 evenly spaced windows, which I could have probably figured out if I did actual math, but hey, we're going with it. But that means that probably we're doing okay here to fit 6 whole windows in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just on this one, it'll come right to the edge. It'll be flush. And yeah, and then now we can figure out, all right, what does that mean for the front? The front matter, is the front flush, or should that have been set forward? These are things I probably could have thought of before this moment. All right, let me think about this. So if I want this to come forward, and I want to have stairs down to it, then this needs to be more than 6 studs deep to fit the building in. All right, so let's pretend that I did this farther back, and we're going to extend this farther forward. See, the sidewalk kept on going. It's a little farther ahead, and it's actually going to be up here. So I will just move, I'll build this part, and then we'll figure out how far in front the sidewalk is, and then figure out how recessed this wing is from the street based on that. So my bad. Don't tell anyone. All right, so if we do one more, 1, 2, now maybe we have a sense of where we want this to come forward. And maybe we'll come forward 2 studs. It will come in 2 studs. And then now we want the stairs to come down. And we'll do maybe 3 stairs. So 1, 2, 3, and 2, 1. All right, so what I'm doing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So starting to figure out where the entrance and then the steps up to the entrance will be, and how wide should that be. Let's count in over here. Let's do 2 in. I don't know if I want a window, but maybe I'll leave space for a 2 stud wide window. And then another 1, 2. And this will come down 1, 2. And so now we have a sense of how wide that little bit is. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 20. So this whole section here is 20 studs long, with 6 over here, and then all of this 32 plus, so 38 on this side. 38 studs, 6 studs, 20, which should add up to 64. Nice. All right, good old math. And so this is why Legos are good too. And this is why math is still useful later in life. You might have thought it would be for your taxes or your jobs or, you know, building bridges or something, but no, it's for Legos. Little known fact there. A little secret of the world for you. All right. All right, so there we go. It's a nice little start to our building here. I'm just gonna check on time. We're very nearly at the end. So I'll just say my plan is like schoolroom, elevator shaft, bathroom, all Jenner. Another wing with schoolroom. There'll be hallways going down the back, coming off the entrance and going into hallways with a door in the middle. And this kind of there'll be a little angled section here overlooking the courtyard with the little playground. That will be the principal's office. And then there'll be a second floor, and I might vary things up a little bit more. Still classrooms, maybe slightly different sizes, or using this maybe I don't know if this might be 2 stories, maybe open. I'll figure that one out. But that's my current thinking of how this is going to pan out. And then we'll see again if we do an angled roof, if there's space inside the roof, or if the top floor just gets really high ceilings in their classrooms. But that's how I'm thinking this will play out. And you'll come into a nice little big open lobby, and you can go left, and there'll be lockers all down the walls, and you can go into the classrooms here, or you can go straight, or you can go diagonal into the principal's office. And there'll be elevator here. I'd like to do stairs too, but I haven't quite figured out in my brain where they'll go yet, but that will be part of it too, is to figure out maybe having a stairwell or 2 in here too, if it will fit and not take up too much space. There's what kind of goes into it when I think about new buildings, when I ponder new plans, and where I'd like to take this little theme, right? So we have the LGBTQ train. I will add more cars to that train. It will get, if I can rotate correctly, ever longer, from our gender fluid tanker, lesbian car carriers, bear, car of bears, and the trans engine. I'm thinking I'll do another engine, so it'll be a 2-engine train, that will be the colors of the Philadelphia Pride flag. And so the Philadelphia Pride flag engine and the Trans engine combined will be the Progress Pride flag. And all of that Progress Pride flag will then be pulling all the other cars of the LGBTQ identities that we can come up with. So that will continue. There will be more of those episodes, but I think they'll be interspersed with some of my more traditional modular building, which will be making this school happen to go along with our school bus. And that's my plan. That's my thinking over the coming episodes. I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. So if you're not already in there, please join our Discord. Please come in. There's so many great topics and things to talk about. But among them is the little Builder's Block section. And like we said, or if you missed it at the start, not only do you get me building custom Lego stuff, there's so many other great programs on the Transverse network. I used to show a list of all the schedules. It's changed a lot. We've had a bunch of changes to our programming. Folks are doing different shows or changing up the times of those shows. So I didn't want to put up wrong information because I know I'm behind keeping track of it all. But please consider following if you don't already. There's so many other cool things to see. So many awesome people who have been right here in the chat and in many other chats to talk to. And we can have a good time together. And you can see me build, but you can also hear lots of amazing and fascinating things from lots of other amazing and fascinating people. And so for now, we're going to call it. We're at 11 p.m. I got to go to bed because I got jury duty again tomorrow. So I am going to leave it with this. Thank you so much, as always, for coming in. It's a delight to have you, especially because I feel a little lower energy tonight, which I blame on jury duty and the anxieties that went with it. But I still had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. I promise we will one day lick all these technical problems and get them working correctly from the get-go, which would be amazing. But until we do, I hope you'll consider coming back. I have been Jess. This has been Builder's Block. You have been awesome. I can't wait to talk to you again. I can't wait to build with you again. And of course, to see what wonderful things you build and create and put out into the world. And until then, you have a wonderful time. And I wish you all the best. Bye all.